GM, everybody. Thank you guys for tuning in to another episode of Wake and Jake. This one is recorded live from a falling knife. Big old red day on the charts across the board. So today we're going to kind of just maybe collectively group hug it out, say a prayer for our bags, and just kind of discuss macro, what's going on this week, and is it over? Is this the end? Is it really over this time? We'll find out. But GM Jake, how you doing today, brother?
I'm doing pretty good despite the market. I feel pretty numb right now, I'd say. I don't know what it is. Maybe that's a sickness. I don't know. Maybe I should feel something more, but right now it's kind of just like, all right, this is kind of what's happening. I mean, we are still, within a range, so um it's not the end of the world for sure. I still have hope. I'm still a bull, but um yeah, man, I'm honestly doing pretty good. I feel like at ease right now, and I think there's still opportunities. It just, I feel like we probably will have to long our I guess trying to think of the best word for it, but expand. There we go. Expand our time horizon. Yeah, man. How are you feeling?
Not bad. Yeah, numb is a really good way to put it. I think I don't know. I see this chart and I'm like, yeah, it looks bad, but it doesn't put fear in my heart. So maybe I don't know. Maybe we have further to go, but I don't know. Like past cycles, even in the bull, I mean, we got used to seeing really large pullbacks, like much bigger than this. So I don't know. Just the things that I've seen in the past, this just kind of seems like another day. I mean, I know the levels are really important and stuff. So I guess if we breach those, we fall below 60, it's probably going to be a sweat. But even then, I don't know, man. It's probably just shaking people out, man. It's going to be a long summer, so buckle in. But I'm not really worried. I don't think the skies are falling or anything like that. But yeah, feeling
Yeah.
feeling okay.
Yeah, we had this most recent dump. We had news that Mount Gox, um, which if you're around during Mount Gox times, then tip a hat to you because that was like 2014 is when it got hacked. And it was the biggest Bitcoin exchange at the time, and it got hacked for, I'm not exactly sure the number. I feel it was like half a million Bitcoin or something like that at the time. Maybe a little less than that, but I think it's 140K total Bitcoin is going to get distributed back to people who were victims of this hack back in 2014. So 10 years ago now. This has been like constant, like, will they distribute the Bitcoin? Won't they? Like Mount Gox news for a long time now. And they finally have said that they're going to start the distributions in July. So next month. They didn't give an exact date. And they also said start. So it seems like it's not going to be all at once. Might be some type of flow. I don't know if I haven't seen anything. I couldn't find anything on if like what the distribution plan is and like how long it's going to take. All they said is that they're going to start in July so far. And they aren't selling the Bitcoin. They are giving people the Bitcoin back. But obviously it's been 10 years now. So that Bitcoin is worth much, much, much more than what it was when they got hacked. So people are obviously assuming that a lot of them are going to sell this Bitcoin, which I think it's about right now, it's worth about $9 billion of Bitcoin that's going to be distributed back to the victims of this hack. So that's a lot of sell pressure to go out on the
Oh,
market.
they're selling for sure. They're selling, dude. Yeah, imagine
Yeah.
being
Yeah.
forced held for 10 years against your will. Yeah, those people were probably salty and bringing up this. Oh, that Mount Gox hack, man.
Oh
If I
yeah.
had that, it'd be worth 2 million. Those people were thinking about that a lot for a long time, and they're getting their money back. They're fucking dumping it. They're gonna sell hard and fast.
Yep. Yeah. So we got that news really early this morning. And we jumped from, I think we were on 63K at the time, and now we're about like 60 and a half K or so right now. Could keep going. It's still on a downtrend at the moment. Um, so that's understandably, it is. not great, but that's also something that's just an overhang on the market, right? So it could be healthy in the long term. The fact that we don't have to worry about this big sell event on whatever the next run up that happens. I think some levels that we're kind of looking at right now is again, I don't claim to be any type of expert on macro. I like to follow people who I think are experts and listen to them because I've watched them for years now and have seen them consistently be right most of the time. No one's right all the time. But Crypto Donald, I referenced him a bunch. I think he's extremely talented trader, especially on a higher time frame. Here's the latest update from him from early this morning, talking about how 60K is kind of the next support right here. But he calls it fake and gay, which I don't really fully understand why. But basically, I believe he's saying, it's not a great support. And he's previously said, I think a few days ago, how once we do break out of this range, it's going to be quite a big break. And it looks like the next level on this chart is around 52K. If we were to break under 60K, that'd be something to look for. To me, like, again, I said I'm numb. Like I'm still very much bullish long term, expect even within the next like 6 months or so. I think we've seen this exact thing play out really in 2021. If you go look back on the chart, like we hit I think around like 60Ks in around, I want to say March or April. I'm not looking at the chart right now. Then we dipped back down into the 40Ks or so over the summertime. So this kind of like dip back down is not anything unheard of. And then after the summer, we kind of ripped back up to new all-time highs across the board. I think a lot of what some people I trust are recommending, and I certainly think it makes a ton of sense, is like reallocating portfolios to conviction bets, like coins that you really believe in. I think a lot of these memes, I think we talked about this last week too, but a lot of these memes have ran a ton, and there's just kind of a lot of shit out there. There's just like a million memes that people are shilling on the timeline and that are over invested in, really. And I think a lot of them are probably going to die off or see pretty large dips. I mean, they already have, but they certainly could go lower. So I think redistributing your portfolio to things that, not financial advice, but to things that are higher conviction plays for yourself, makes more sense while we see some turbulence in the market. Typically summertime is not a time where we see any significant pumps. There's usually lower volume as people are touching grass. So, that's kind of how I'm looking at things. I would love to hear. I know we have some good macro experts in the chat too. If you guys have anything to say or disagree with anything I say or have anything to add, I would love to hear that too. If not, if you're busy or whatever, and just listening in, that's cool too. But I'll want to pause for a second if anyone has anything to add on the macro or any other outlooks. Okay, we still need our coffee. That's no problem.
Sorry, it's Oxford Bonacci. I saw this chart on X that I accidentally posted in the wrong chat, but some guy basically posted kind of what happened in the past during previous Mt. Gox FUD. So I thought it could be good information given what we just found.
I see. So it looks like we kind of hit bottom for a lot of those, right?
Yeah, it looks like initial like kind of fear-based selling and then a recovery for most time, but not to say it's going to do the same, but just kind of looks like that's what it did in the past at least.
Good. We got you here. What is your outlook, would you say, for like the next couple months over the summertime? Do you have any leans?
I kind of summarized my like high level stuff back in May. Summer is usually pretty sideways, right? Like I think June, especially, like the average for history of Bitcoin is like 0.75%, like pretty much flat. I think we're down about 10% so far. So, yeah, I guess like expecting summer to be fairly sideways in general, with the Ethereum ETF being the big like upside if that does launch, which looks like there's a chance it could happen in the next week or two. But I think if that does happen, we get a lot of inflows and get some kind of attention and activity on ETH and alts, obviously too. With that, it could be a nice little upswing. But I definitely think this fall is going to be a little challenging with election volatility and potential rate increases. So I'm hoping we get at least a couple months of upside with the ETF launch and, kicking the can down the road with rate cuts. But not surprised that we've been kind of ranging for the most of the summer so far.
Yeah, good analysis. I think from what I've seen, I'm pretty in line there too. I think how I'm kind of playing this right now is I'm seeing this as still pretty early in the cycle. I'm not gonna lie. I know we kind of started the bull trend a while ago. Probably like mid 2023 or so is when he started ripping up. Maybe a little earlier. So slow trend up in general across the board, but it still just feels like sentiment wise that we're kind of early to this cycle. I don't know. I know we've seen I realize that we've seen celebrities come in and pump and dumps, all that stuff. But it was mainly like pretty E-list celebrities looking for a quick buck, and there hasn't really been any type of large, in my opinion, largely recognized entrance into the space. I'm just kind of looking at it from a sentiment point of view from my personal experience last cycle in 2021 when I would tell people I work in crypto, and during that bull people would constantly be like, oh, I have a buddy who's super into it too, I'd love to set up a meeting, or people would be like, oh, I'd love to sit down and pick your brain on stuff, or they'd continue to ask me follow-up questions. Oh, what's the coin I should buy right now, or what do you think ETH price is going to go to, or what do you think Bitcoin's going to do, or give me a pick. People would ask me follow-ups, and I literally have not had that once this entire cycle so far. I still, when I tell people I work in crypto, the very normal response is oh, I don't really understand any of that stuff. And then they don't ask me any type of follow-up because they don't care. And it just feels just seeing things along the Tom Brady roast, for instance, they made a joke about how crypto is still a scam, and everyone laughed at it, and it just seemed yeah, crypto's a scam still. I feel like the SBF stuff is still very much in the heads of the mainstream, and I don't think we've really reached any type of retail adoption yet this cycle, and that kind of makes me think that there's a bit of a longer time horizon, because once there is retail adoption, there still is I would say 6 months to a year of that kind of froth happening until we reach really a type of peak within the bull cycle. That's just how I'm personally looking at it from a sentiment standpoint, and not really thinking about the macro aspect of it. But kind of with that mindset, you guys are probably gonna hate to hear this, but how I'm positioning myself is I'm kind of just looking to continue farming different protocols, and I'm really looking to allocate myself towards things that are not just easy farms, but things that I actually have conviction in, that things that I think was going to be worth something upon TGE and worth my time, which is obvious, but I think a lot of people are farming stuff that they don't even really care about, and they're just looking to sell right away. But I think what's probably going to be the most bang for your buck is platforms that you truly see some type of wider adoption happening, that kind of potential happening, and then sticking to those. I think people are largely tired of farming. I get that for sure. I think there's a lot of burnout across the space, and there probably will be a lot of touching grass through the summertime, and that's kind of the time I would say it's probably going to be the best to farm is because there's going to be less competition on these farms. There's going to be so you can kind of get a bigger share of the pool. And for a lot of these projects that maybe their TGE isn't planned until later in the year, Q3, Q4, when when the market heats up again, and that's kind of the opportune time to yield your crops, if you will. And you did all the farming while there was less competition. So that's kind of how I'm looking at things right now. I know it's not like a sexy play by any means. But that's at least my plan for the moment. It can always change if market heats up again, and if there's more, higher risk on opportunities, more plays to be had. But for the most part, that's how I'm looking at things at the moment. But yeah, I'll stop there. I'd love to hear if anyone has similar or different thoughts on how they're attacking things right now.
Yeah, more of the same. Just farming whatever I can if anything pops up. Blast just ended, but you know how it is. Something's gonna come up. Um, I'm sure Blast is gonna come up with something too, so I'm keeping an eye on that. They always like to, extend their Ponzi's. Well, Pac-Man does a good job of that, so I'm thinking that might keep us active through the summer. From there, yeah, man, I don't know. It's gonna be, I guess it's time to just chill, touch grass, and just do light work and keep active with whatever we can until we heat up again. And maybe, if people are looking to get in to the market and they feel like they missed a lot of entries for crypto, this is the time to DCA. So, just, don't get caught up in the whole, oh, we're going to zero like you did every other cycle, and make sure you pick your entries, because I think this is giving everybody a chance to maybe buy in if they hadn't, or if they felt like they got stuck on the sidelines. This should be considered a gift. I mean, yeah, we could keep going lower, but that's why you DCA. So if I was on the sidelines, that's what I would be doing. But since I'm already in, I'm just gonna keep playing the game. Keeping an eye on shit coins, seeing if there's pockets of activity there. Everybody's a degen; they love to like, what I mean, lose money on coins. So if there's activity there, I'll probably get into some and try to roll my profits. If not, I'll be continuing with Pirate Nation. I'm not stopping there, that's for sure. And whatever other farm I can get my hands on, maybe whatever Blast comes out with. I'm gonna keep playing Fantasy Top and Rainmakers most likely. But since I'm on vacation, I'm probably gonna sell some off. We'll see. That's my plan.
Sounds like a solid plan to me. I guess to me it would make sense, I guess, chronologically to talk through what's next, which is the Blast TGE on it's Wednesday, right? The 26th. In 2 days.
Yeah, so tomorrow morning, 8 a.m. That's actually a good time to warn people. You have to make sure you've logged into all your wallets. You've checked on Blast if you've claimed all your gold. Well, I'm probably going to make a time sensitive post about this soon, but go to the dApps you've used and see if there's a claim button for gold, or if they sent the gold to you directly. It could be either or. Some of them actually have a claim button on the site. And yeah, just make sure you've logged into all your wallets at least once, and everything gets locked in at 8 a.m. Eastern tomorrow morning. So after that, there's going to be no more gold. You can't collect anymore. And then after that, there's the TGE, which is, I guess, the next day. So yeah, just make sure everything's locked down by 8 a.m. Eastern tomorrow.
I guess, yeah, one more quick shout, something to do by tomorrow. The MVHQ app has a mission right now. It's a blast gold jackpot. 2,500 gold is going to go to one winner. It's a raffle, just straight up raffle. You can enter. It's cost about $3 to mint and enter. But 2,500 gold is a pretty juicy jackpot. I think there's about 1,700 entries at the moment. I think it's still positive EV. Somebody else can do the math, but yeah, 12 hours left on that one if you want to complete that mission. We do have a gang of other missions. There's about 7 of them total that are going to end this week, but definitely the Blast Gold Jackpot one, if you're interested in that, is 12 hours. So yeah, that would be the next thing to knock out today, and then check Genzo's time sensitive post when that goes out. But as far as the TGE itself, I guess let's talk through, I guess, what are your all's plans? I guess you're assuming the Ponzi is going to extend, right? There's going to be another season. There's going to be more things to do. I guess, talk us through some of that, or speculation, or just where your head's at. Or are you moving on to other farms? Once has the ship sailed, or how are you guys feeling?
Yeah. I wish we had more info at this time, because it's hard to know. Like, I would love to talk through more about. I'm sure we will next week, but I'd love to talk through this week about like what to do for next season. But it's hard. It's hard right now because we don't know like if they're going to extend the Ponzi. I think a lot of people assume they would. I definitely assume that they're going to do it in some way. I just don't know like what level that it's going to look like. Um, so it's hard for me to be like, yeah, I'm like, I make a decision right now to be like, yeah, I'm either going to stay in Blast or not. As it kind of just depends, on what that incentive looks like. Um, but yeah, quick, just like housekeeping on that is the DApps are distributing their gold by and points by they have to by tomorrow at 8 a.m. Eastern. Like Jinzo said, there's some DApps where you have to like physically go on there and like claim your gold. Like D1's one of them, so make sure to do that. Go on your profile and claim the gold there, so you can receive it, and then obviously make sure to connect your wallets that you farmed with to the Blast site itself, so you get recognized for that gold too. Wouldn't want to just leave any money on the table there. Yeah, man, it's and then the TG is the 26th, so in 2 days. I've seen a couple exchange announcements so far. BitGet is one of them. I think Upbit, which I believe is like the biggest one in Korea. We haven't seen Coinbase yet. I guess I would assume that Coinbase is going to list them because they listed Blur right away. So I would assume that they're going to list Blast as well. But we haven't seen anything on that yet. We haven't seen anything on Binance and that such stuff too. That those listings usually come like day of or like right before. So I don't think it's unusual that we haven't seen those yet either. But yeah, I'm not really sure, dude. I really want to talk through like how to play this, but it's hard because I don't know because Pac-Man always has something up his sleeve, and I just don't really know what that's gonna be to be able to like game it right. I don't know if there's gonna be an incentive to hold the blast in some way to earn more blast or whatever. I don't know if there's not going to be. I don't know what it's going to open at. So I would say for sure I'm going to sell some portion of mine just so I can get some liquid back from all this farming. But I don't know what it's going to look like yet. I wish I had more actionable info here, but it's just hard. It's just hard to know because I don't know what the details are right now. I think an interesting topic is like what apps, if any, people are going to continue to use on Blast, even if there wasn't an incentive. Like, is there any like actual killer apps that people think are worth using despite not having the gold incentive? I'd say for me
Did I just cut out, or is that
He got
Jake?
no,
Yeah.
he got rugged. He's asking dangerous questions here. I think that's what happened.
They offed him.
I think Pac-Man might have found him.
It took him out.
That is the big question: is anybody doing any of this stuff without incentive? And that is a hilarious place to get taken out.
testing. Oh, there we go.
Hey, welcome back. We thought Pac-Man got you, man. You're asking dangerous questions.
Yeah. It's close, man. We got snipers all over. I'll give like two, I guess, for me. Like IKB, I think is a good one. We talked about a bunch, but it's a DFS site. I mean, they have a differentiator even without the Blast Gold is that they don't charge like a rake or a fee for their contests from like DraftKings or FanDuel. So I think that in itself is a pretty nice selling point. They're able to do that because of being crypto native projects on Blast where they get revenue from just holding on to customer deposits, as well as I'm assuming that they're going to launch their own token eventually too. So they'll likely get allocation from that as well. So that's one. And then I do think Fantasy Top has potential long term. I don't really know if it's gonna last. I'm pretty iffy about it. I'm sure prices are gonna drop across the board if they don't have any type of new rewards distribution system or new rewards from Blast in season 2. But I do think the use case is new and different enough to where it could be still potentially worth playing at if the price is right in that situation. I think right now it might not be right. I mean, the prices have fallen across the board, but just playing it for the rewards themselves from the tournaments as well as the eventual token airdrop from them too. I think it has a chance to continue to succeed, but there's some headwinds there. But I'd love to hear from anyone else if there's any other platforms on Blast or anything else that you guys would still use if there wasn't any type of incentive.
Hey, Jake, this is not app related, but I did want to throw out a possible play I'm looking at for the Blast TGE. Currently on Avo, you can already open up longs or short on Blast. I'm going to wait for the price to adjust a little bit once the gold distribution is turned into points. But if you're someone who's farmed a lot of Blast gold and you want to hedge your bet, I think opening up a short makes a lot of sense, because if the price moves up and Blast comes in way hotter than expected, great, you cashed. And if it's lower than expected, then you'll make a lot of money on your short. So it's just a pretty straightforward hedge, but I think it's a pretty decent play. We have seen with TGEs like Blur and stuff in the past that there is a wave of whales that can come in if the price gets too low. I'm not sure if we're going to see it this time or not, just a different market. So we have no idea, but I just wanted to put that out there for people who have thousands of Blast gold and lots of points in Blast. A short as a hedge is a pretty decent vehicle.
There's one thing I saw too, but this is not something that was announced. Like, it's not like Pac-Man announced it. It's more, I saw it from Clemente and others that were talking about it. So take it with a grain of salt. But apparently ZachXBT went through the contract and found that Pac-Man has the option, or is planning to, let's say, we'll see what happens, but yeah, vest 50% of the gold that we get. So that might be one of the plans that they take. Sorry to backtrack a bit. I was trying to find the post and I finally found it. But yeah, so that's one thing to watch out for, man. Maybe that's one of their plans. They always have something up their sleeve. Maybe they're going to vest half of everybody's gold or whatever we get for that gold. And that might be one way that the squeeze happens over here.
Yeah, good shot. I've seen a lot of people speculate on, the contracts they've seen.
Yeah.
I saw something about there's one allocation for like 14% of total supply. People are speculating that might be either for everyone or if it's for specific buckets, like just for golden points. And Blur is separate. So we'll see. Yeah, but if you want to search, I think you can search like Blast TG stuff on Twitter, and you'll probably find a good amount of speculation if you want to try and prepare ahead of time and see if there's any plays to be made there. I'm not really sure. I think things can certainly change before then, and there could certainly be psyops before then. You never really know, I feel like, with Pac-Man. But yeah, good shout out. I meant to bring that up too, and good shout out as well. Ross, always love the play ideas. I think that's probably pretty smart.
It's good to have all the info and just, whatever you find, just have it at the back of your mind and be ready for different outcomes. So that's why I'm throwing it out there, but it's not like it's set in stone, so we don't take it as law, obviously.
Yeah, anything else on Blast stuff? We're approaching here. A lot of people farmed it. Any takes out there? Anything else you guys want to discuss?
I feel good. I think it's just time for those that farmed, hope they farmed enough, and then just sort of watch the fireworks day of.
We don't have any info on timing, right?
Timing of what?
When it will actually happen. Like, we know it's the 26th or whatever, but that's all we know. Sometime that day.
Yeah, I haven't seen anything on the exact time on that day yet.
I will say, if you're going for it on a decentralized exchange, go ahead and get a MEV blocker now. You can just Google MEV blocker. There's a website that has like a one-click ad, just so you don't get sandwiched. Saw a lot of people get sandwiched on Pirate TGE just because there was low liquidity in the pool. So if you're up and you're getting the time-sensitive ping that it's live on a deck somewhere and you want to try and front run, just use a MEV blocker, please.
Great shout. Do you have like an actual link that you use? I would be cautious about Googling anything in crypto and using it.
Yeah, that's totally fair. I got you. I'll drop the link.
Well, if we're done on Blast, Rag had a question earlier. He asked me about what I'm looking towards now that Blast is winding down. I'd say like certainly the main thing right now is Pirate Nation. Surprise, surprise. talked about this a bunch, but I'm still incredibly bullish on that game and that ecosystem. Just the fact that they're not only building the single game, which I'm bullish on in general, but also a chain or a multi-chain of on-chain gaming infrastructure that other games can build off of, and that their studio themselves are going to build more games off of, and they have the the team and the experience to grow to millions of users. I just love everything that they're doing. So I'm not going to go into a ton to Pirate Nation because I know we talk about it all the time here in MVHQ already. Scott successfully recruited a bunch of Pirate Nation maxis, which I love to see. But I also don't want to just drown out the chat with Pirate Nation maxi stuff. We have a specific thread for that. I will call out. I did post. I talked about this last week, but if you missed last week and you missed the field report that I posted, I just did want to call out, like I do have a very big conviction play on Pirate token itself. I think it's extremely undervalued right now compared to especially like other gaming ecosystem tokens, and then considering those themselves are very depressed in price right now after bleeding a good amount. I think there's a pretty huge amount of upside, and it's probably, I said it before, it's like it's definitely my biggest conviction bet since WIF was at like 100 million market cap. And I feel probably even more convicted about this in terms of its ability to appreciate from here. I know it was 21 cents last week. It's 20 cents this week, so it's down. Not great, but I will. But I'm gonna post this at least, and this is like my coins that I follow right now, and it's down the least out of everything, including like Ether to Bitcoin. So yes, it's down, but relatively, it's doing pretty good. So we'll take it for now. Hopefully, the market heats up. Yeah, that's all I'll say on the pirate stuff. A couple others. I did want to. Yes, JJ, Wake and Jake, nice PFP, baby. I did want to shout out one other thing. Posted non-time sensitive earlier. I think last week, but if anyone was farming Circle Tech, they released a new product. They kind of rebranded themselves, and because the Circle Tech really wasn't catching on. It honestly wasn't that great of an idea. We just pay to ask questions to people. They rebranded to time.fun, which I think is a much better product. And it's basically you pay for minutes of people's time. So obviously like that's skewed towards like influencers and KOLs, like people whose time is I would say like there's like a market for. And it's not only that, but there's also the speculation aspect of it that they added, where you can actually buy and sell. You can trade the minutes as well. So like people are trading minutes of Ansem's time, for instance. Like he signed up on it day one. People are buying and selling minutes of his time, and basically what you can do is you can add up. You can like basically buy like a block of like 15 minutes if you wanted to, and you could schedule like a video call or like a call with this person and redeem those minutes for like a meeting with this influencer, for example. It's kind of like it depends on what your viewpoint is in terms of like if you think it's dumb or not. I think there is some use cases. I think some of it is like kind of ridiculous and dumb at the same time. But it's also a farming opportunity, in my opinion. I think it has some type of chance and of working out long term, of being like a successful product. So if you do want to farm that, I think we have a farm going right now in MVHQ. If you go to the time.fun focus discussion, you can get in on that action. I think people are sending questions back and forth, just like you did with Circle Tech. I haven't started it yet, so I might be missing a couple things there. But I did want to shout out that farm opportunity because I think it could be decent. And also, anyone who did farm Circle Tech in the past is going to get an allocation of their token, which I believe they said they're going to drop sometime this summer. So it's not like it's a endless farm. There is going to be a TGE sometime within the next 2 or 3 months, I believe. But yeah, I'll stop there for a second. If anyone's farming time fun or has any thoughts on like the pirate token stuff.
I just want to know if my Circle Tech farming is enough for me to not have to touch time.fun, but it's probably too
Yeah,
high.
I mean, you could. They said that there's like a set allocation, so it's not like you're gonna get super diluted if it like completely takes off. Um, like they have like a set token like percentage, I guess is what I'm trying to say, of the TGE that's set aside for Circle Tech. So if there's like insane amount of users all of a sudden that are farming time.fun, you're not going to get crazy diluted from when you farm Circle Tech. So it sounds like you'd probably be fine if you want to just not farm time.fun. Like you don't need to, and you'll still get an allocation for the Circle Tech stuff.
That's great info. They didn't say the set percentage yet, or TBD, I guess.
No, I don't think they've said it, but I haven't followed like super close either. So maybe there's been an update.
Ooh, just gotta hope his heart's in the right place. I believe was it Cause? That was his name. Claus.
Yeah, yeah, we'll have to get him in for another AMA now that
Yeah, good.
this product launched.
Yeah, good dude. That was a great AMA. So yeah, I felt him. It's like, we're not going to do the TGE because it's basically just MVHQ. Shit, man, we were like, I don't know, 30 of the top 50. So hopefully we get taken care of, and that percentage isn't measly. Hopefully he remembers who was there in the trenches when nobody was using it. Smart rebrand though, very clever. Fingers crossed to the whole union. Hope we cook.
Oh, Poppy coming in clutch. We have an AMA with them this Thursday.
Man, you spoke it into existence. Beautiful. Poppy's the
Man,
man.
it works fast.
Yeah.
Light speed.
He's got like 12 tabs open right now. He's like, oh, Jake said it, so let it be so.
But yeah, those are my focuses right now. Also, Floppa, I need to look into this more, but Floppa did a great field report on Tycho, who we did the Alelis and a lot of MVHQ people cooked on for their Tycoons, which is like their Genesis mint, but Tycho is a new L2. It's like a new form of L2. It's called a based roll up, which I'm not great at getting into the technical weeds, but it is a different technological. I know it's like some kind of like technological advancement in terms of L2s, so it has that kind of differentiator to it, where maybe it can stand out a little bit more. I don't really know, but I know some people are starting to farm Tycho as well. But yeah, I want to open up. Is there any farms that you guys are particularly looking at right now while we're on the topic?
I could jump in there real quick on Tycho and give a quick TLDR. But yeah, first of all, shout out to Big Floppa Field Report. It's called Tycho, New Opportunity for Farming. Excellent place to get started. We do have a Tycho focused discussion as well. We recently, Llama and Scott Co. sort of broke down the numbers and figured out that it might not be the most profitable thing in the world. So it's probably not worth going really crazy about or loading up 20 wallets or anything like that. But could still be something. At the moment, they have a campaign going on called the Trailblazers event, which each week will focus on like different things to do in their ecosystem. At the moment, it's just bridging. So you just bridge in from another network. A base, I think, is the cheapest one that we found. It's about $1 to bridge in, or 70 cents or so. You just bridge in, you get points. If you have their Genesis collection, they're called Tycoons. You'll get like a multiplier at the end of the event, and that's pretty much it. There's not a lot going on at the moment. It's just bridging. But I was just with small amount of funds, like 0.1, just bridging in a couple times a day. I was able to shoot up to around the top 1% on the Tycoons like sort of leaderboard. So it doesn't take a lot. It might be underfarmed, but it might not be the most lucrative airdrop in the world. But got to stay open to all those plays, I'll go ahead and run through some of these other field reports, though, because I do think that's a great transition, a great shout here, just because we had some bangers, like 7 total field reports over the past week. So just to kind of give everybody their credit here and draw some attention to these in case you missed them. We had the Tycho one from Big Floppa we just talked about. We had Jake and Bake dropped the bull case for Pirate. That was following our Wake and Jake episode where he announced his conviction sort of stance on that. So he wrote that out in a field report for us. We had 2 from Fibonacci. Both of these are TA. We had the 3rd week of June and the final week of June. Appreciate you also coming up here and sharing your thoughts on macro. Appreciate it. We had JD dropped Bless React and Field Reports. This one is incredible, man. It's just sort of highlights the features that we have going on in our Discord, how to get the most value out of your token. I know most people here are OGs, a couple new faces in the crowd, love to see it. So definitely check out Bless React and Field Reports. It'll show you the ins and outs of how our community works, how we reward each other, how we share the alpha, and how everybody can cook in a sort of cohesive network that we've built. Next, we have BullX. This is from Dive Bars Rule. It's an advanced shitcoin, meme coin platform and farming opportunity. I've seen this one around the timeline. I haven't got a chance to dig into the field report yet, but I know Dive Bars is going to cook on this one because he always does. So I'll check that one out. And then also we have Mr. Bull, more like Mr. Goat. He dropped Bitcoin Ordinals, Runes, BRC compilation and strategies. This is a modern sort of updated list of all of the workings of the Bitcoin Ordinal ecosystem, all the links and stuff that you could need, and some alpha and stuff there. Again, Mr. Bull, absolute legend, king of MVPs, always sharing the alpha and stuff. But shout out to everybody on these field reports because that's a lot of content, a lot of information, a lot of alpha for 1 week. So if you have the time, go back, read those, add some reactions to the main post. That's how we reward our field reporters. So yeah, if you get some value from that, then make sure and give it back to them. But yeah, that's all I got for missions. I'm happy to hear of any other farms, if anybody has any more Tycho info or takes, or just other stuff beyond Blast after the TGE. All ears if anybody wants to jump in.
Not sure if you mentioned the based VC mission that we have going on that's ending in a day. I heard you talk about missions, but
yeah, I didn't. I kind of just grouped them all in. But honestly, man, now's the time. I'm going to grab you guys by the shoulder and shake you. Listen. Hear me, okay? You guys need to be doing these MVHQ missions. Trust me. Knock them out. If you don't want to enter the raffles, or if you're not interested in like the reward, bare minimum, just do the first couple objectives. Like the tweet. The one of them is just follow MVHQ. That's on every mission. And surely you guys are following on Twitter. So those are points that you can just be adding to your profile. So definitely rack up your points. Again, if you don't want to mint the final objective, that's cool. Do the missions though. Definitely go through it. We made it so smooth and so easy. It's one click on all of these objectives. So it won't take you more than 2 minutes to do all 7 of these missions that end this week. Up until the final objective. Knock them out, guys. Trust me. Go knock these out. But yeah, of those ones that end in one day, we've got PlayFi, we've got Based VC, we've got Revived, which is a whitelist spot. We've got Ordinal Hive, which is a first come, first serve spot. In 3 days, we've got Guild of Guardians, which was a big get. That one's going to be ended in 3. We have 2 different missions from Live Art. Those end in 4 days. Finally, we have one from Splice that ends in 4 days. So lots of stuff to do on the platform.
And the based VC one, I mean, you're just paying obviously the mint fee that we charge, but you're getting a free NFT if you get selected, and there's also so much that they're giving for that free NFT. So I wouldn't fade this one. Based VC is pretty, good at what they do. Obviously, it's died down a little bit, but I mean, it's a free NFT, and they're saying that you might get a token airdrop. You get the access to their community with this. And I think it gives access to the site too, which other NFTs that you have to buy to get access to their site. So I think it gives access. I'm not sure, but yeah, just do it. It's free. You know what I mean? It's really not costing you much. We have 75 spots that we're giving out of a possible 2,000, and there's not that many entries. I mean, there's 700. Right now there are 715 entries or something. So your chances of winning are pretty high.
Yeah, and just in general, I'll kind of remind you guys that it's still a canned, curated, team cultivated experience. Like it's not open, come one, come all. All of these missions that we're putting out, like not every mission is going to be for everybody, but they're all vetted by our cracked BD team. And there's a reason that they're up there on our website. So we try and bring the absolute best to you guys. Again, not every mission is going to be for everybody, but bare minimum, you can knock out those objectives and get the points. But trust, if we had a mission up there, there's something interesting, some potential cook, some potential payout. It's always positive EV if we're including it. All right, so we're farming Tyco. We're farming the MVHQ app. Um, what else do we got? Anything?
Yeah, I want to hear from you if there's any updates on how your beacon farm is doing. I tried it a bit. It's nice that you can farm like for free, like you don't have to pay anything um, to get it going. But I'm curious on like how because I know there's some paid assets, but I don't really know how those intertwine with the farming process. If you want to give any type of like overview there.
Oh man, I'm happy to. Yeah, so yeah, definitely been farming the beacon and knocking that out. I went ahead and dropped two links. One's the field report that I dropped, and the other is the focus discussion. If you want to jump in, the short version is yeah, you can jump in for free. They have a play to airdrop campaign ongoing. It's going to end probably in about a week or about the end of the week. Um, it doesn't cost anything. You can just jump in. You can probably knock the bulk of these out in about, I don't know, if you sat down just about 2 hours or less. Some of them require some skill and some gameplay and some combat, but most of them don't. Most of them are just standard social objectives. You also have just some story missions where you just walk around, click in, and just kind of introduce the characters and stuff. So yeah, you can knock out the story missions and just the social objectives, and most likely qualify for their upcoming mint. Um, Great team, great game. I mean, they've been very fair with how they've treated their assets and stuff. I guess the difference would be if you're spending money, you would be first, I guess, buying one of their founding characters. They're about 200 magic, or about like 115 bucks, something like that. These will unlock a character where you can play in the game. At the moment, they have like daily dungeons where you run the dungeon once per day with your character, and you can unlock loot, including cosmetics, token allocations for their future airdrop, and something else I'm forgetting. Yeah, furniture and stuff to like decorate your house. Kind of got like a house decorating type deal. So you can play for free and just sort of earn and farm for the airdrop. You could buy a character for about 115 bucks, and that would give you like a daily sort of dungeon run. There are multiple dungeons at this point, so you could probably do like four or five or four of them that are active. That's probably beside the point. They do have another collection. Those are pets. Those are going to give you auto whitelist for the basically the carrot that's at the end of the stick here. At the end of the play to airdrop campaign is going to be a mint of their rite of passage. But if you have a pet, then you get automatically whitelisted for that. Those are at about I think like zero point 0.4 ETH, so those are kind of pricey. They also have some future in-game utility as well. That's kind of TBD there. But yeah, a couple collections. There's the third collection, which are the items, and those are what I mentioned that you get from the dungeons. So at the end of the dungeon, you can get armor or cosmetics, hair dyes, furniture, stuff like that, and then you can sell those in their own collection. But overall, I'm loving it. It's a nice balance of like just like cute, sort of like retro, like chill, cozy vibes. But then when you play the game, like certain parts of it will just kick your ass, dude. Like they started side quests on that New Frontiers sort of airdrop campaign, and these are just like off to the side. You don't have to do them, but you can. And the one of them right now is this boss, and dude, I probably spent a total of 2 hours trying this boss just over and over and over. I would go as far as to compare it to the experience that I had with the Elden Ring DLC as far as difficulty. Like I struggled equally on the beacon boss that I did on Mesmer in the DLC, which was a very tough fight. So pretty crazy as far as how high the skill gap can go. You know what I mean? Very very difficult, challenging side quest that they have there. So it's nice to see that they can at least go that route if they want to, as far as like hardcore punishing. I think they'll probably lean more into like the cozy sort of farming sort of stuff. But at the moment, yeah, you can check out that field report and jump in probably about 2 hours. You can knock out the whole airdrop campaign, potentially get whitelisted for their upcoming mint in July, which I think will do well. It's going to be kind of tied to their token. It's going to have an airdrop attached to that NFT. Plus, you're farming the token airdrop allocations that you get from these quests and these missions and stuff. So they're doing it right. I think you just play the game and you earn their token. I think that's how it should be. And I found it enjoyable. It's not gonna be for everybody, but pretty solid for me, man. I'd give it like a 9 out of 10. I believe in them, and I'm pretty bullish.
That's a good enough endorsement for me, man. I know you played many Web3 games over the course of your Web3 career so far. So I've been grinding it a bit. I haven't kept up with it every day, but I've been at least do it a little bit just to see what kind of allocation I can get from doing the daily quests for free. Yeah, not much downside besides I guess the time you put in, and it's a fun little skill based game. So
Yeah, totally, man. I probably put more weight and credence into that than I should because at the end of the day, it's crypto and shit doesn't matter. It's hype and speculation and number go up. But yeah, I don't know, man. Maybe I'm just a sucker, but I think they're good devs, and I think the game is a solid foundation of a game. It's kind of just the base sort of game loop, and if that's good, I mean, they can add whatever they want to it. It's kind of the ultimate foundation there, and I think they've got it. Like, I mean, I don't know. Just imagine they add one element from Cambria, right, where you duel people and you're betting gold. Like now, all of a sudden, it's fucking top tier. You know what I mean? And I think that could be relatively easy for them to add. They've teased like 4-player co-op dungeons and PvP and stuff in the past, so I think it just takes something like that, and it could ignite like a fire keg, and then everybody's gonna be showing, oh, come play me in the beacon, come duel me, yada yada. That's the future that I see, but we'll see. Maybe it's just a airdrop token opportunity. You can just get in, get out, and play off the hype. It'd be totally fair as well. At the moment, the assets are all sort of at all-time highs. So, I mean, they cooled off a little bit from just like a week ago, but that was all-time highs. So most of these characters were minted for, or all of these characters rather, were minted for $40. The floor is 120 now, and there's 45,000 of them. So if people wanted to dump for their little $80 profit, then they would have. But it's holding decent. I think it could be a good long-term play.
awesome, man. Appreciate the rundown. Real quick, one more question on that. You said the daily quests end in like a week. Like, what's the plan after that?
Yeah, so based on their docs, I think that there's going to be 2 more events potentially. Um, so the way they worded it really carefully, and they always refer to those medallions. The medallions are the in-game and the quest drop that you get that are the token allocation, but they only call them a token allocation over and over and over again. They won't call it an airdrop. I think they're doing that because there's going to be 2 more events. And I think that you'll be able to farm additional medallions and get future allocations. Basically, I'm assuming that they're going to have a new twist. I know the last node of the quest that you can see all the way on the far right is going to be the launch of their new client. So I don't know if that's like a downloadable client or like how the game is going to run. It's always been a browser-based experience until now. I don't know if it's a new engine or what, but I think that that's going to be something big, and then that will likely be the announcement of their next sort of like event. I know that the mint is happening in July for the rite of passage. So I don't know if that's following these events or if that's concurrent with it, but I'm expecting a couple more events, at least 2 more events to happen where you can get more of these tokens and stuff, or more allocation for their airdrop. Some people were asking if you would have to pay because they're calling it allocation, but I think they're just using that word to like sort of weaken the expectations that it's going to be an airdrop immediately accessible to you. Uh, but I don't think they mean allocation in the sense that it's like a pre-sale that you have to buy into, if that makes sense.
Gotcha. Okay.
Sorry, I forgot your question. I don't even know if I answered your question. I'm deep in the weeds, man. I'm in Beacon
You're,
Land.
you're good. You're good. You're good.
So yeah, lots of farming opportunities. I would just keep like you were doing, just daily, just sort of run the dungeon and hit the chest at the end, and then any side quests that pop up. I think there was one that was just like tweet, which you don't even have to really tweet. You just click the button and then click verify. But I would just keep your eyes on those and try to get as many medallions and prestige as you can, leading up to that mint in July, because I think that's gonna be the cook. I think.
All right, man. Man, I felt like it was gonna be a little slower of a week, but I think there's some good alpha shared um, across the board, even if it's not anything that's like super short term actionable. Anything else you guys have? I think we're at the hour mark now. Anything else that you guys wanted to talk through here before we wrap it up? I mean, obviously, still being here, but sorry, go ahead.
No, you're good. Sorry, bro. I was gonna say, what do you think's gonna happen with the blast gold that haven't given out on the jackpot yet? They're just gonna like distribute it to a bunch of different projects, or are they just not gonna distribute it? Like, what do you think?
Yeah, that's a good question, man. I think they're not going to distribute it. I feel like Pac-Man probably knows that. I feel like he probably wants everyone's gold to be worth more right now, and if they distribute that blast gold, then that just dilutes everyone further. So all the gold that earned, like I feel like upon TG, especially with how the market's dumping right now and has been for the past couple weeks, he's probably is like looking at that and seeing like he wants people to be obviously as happy as possible upon TGE, and if people just get diluted more from this jackpot, then that would obviously would hurt things. So that's kind of how I feel, and he'll probably kind of roll that over for season two. And it also seems like the jackpot like isn't exactly like the best form of distributing gold to people in the community. If I had to guess, I feel like it's going to get revamped a little bit upon season two, and hopefully and make it a little bit better. Hopefully more like more frequent of distributions to different communities. But we'll see. That's kind of how I'm thinking it. I don't think that it'll get any more will get distributed out, and if it is, I think it'll probably be a small amount.
Yeah, I feel like that's possible. It feels like he tightened up the parameters because we haven't seen a jackpot in forever, but apparently activity is up across the board on the chain this last week. So, it's like if before they were saying if a certain DApp or whatever has activity and this and that, it has a better chance of winning. But it feels like nobody's won anything significant in over a week. So I feel like you're right, man. I feel like he tightened it up on purpose. And that now, like maybe he'll just do something else with this gold or burn it or I don't know what, but just like to make it more bullish for us. That I like that take.
Yeah, I think it's almost a sure thing that there's going to be some type of incentivization for season two as well to keep the things going. Sick, y'all. Anything else?
All good here, man. I got to shill my two favorite things, the beacon and the MVHQ app. So I see another 50 or so entries into this Blast Gold jackpot. So hopefully anybody listening that was interested is able to get their entry in before it ends.
How's
Love
that
to
going to
see
be
it.
distributed?
What's that? From the jackpot?
Yeah.
It's all going to one winner.
Oh, for real?
Mhm.
Nice.
One lucky winner is going to hit on 2,500 Blast Gold. Pretty insane.
Very cool.
Less than
Opt out.
2,500 entries, which is crazy. But
Can we
man,
opt Ezra out, bro? He's won too much already.
right, man. Take the fantasy top earnings and go.
Top one or nothing. Yeah, that's it. How many entries?
Bro, it's unlimited entries.
No. How many are there?
Oh, there's 1,800, but yeah, there's 1,800 already, but it's unlimited, which is yeah, Ezra's doing the quick maths, and we're probably gonna see these run up. I don't know. It seems like a crazy low amount. So I'm trying to let the fam know here. Hint, hint. It's looking
Wait, see, where do
juicy.
you check the total entries? I just see participants. I see
Go
there's
to-
906.
Drop the objective at the bottom, the actual mint objective down. It'll show you the supply.
The 2,500 Blast
Oh.
Gold jackpot one there, you'll see it. Or
I
you have to
see it.
actually click them in.
Okay, nice. Thanks. I'll stop pointing attention to it now.
Yeah, I've tried. I've tried all show. So if you're not picking up what I'm putting down, well, I don't know what to tell you. Well, cool. I feel good. If you guys feel good, we can go ahead and cut it here. Obviously, we'll be hanging around, chat about anything you guys are interested in. But for the purposes of Wake and Jake, we'll go ahead and cut it here. And see you guys next week, same time, 12 Eastern. Jake, any final words?
Make sure to claim. Once again, make sure to claim if there's any blast gold and any DApps that you've been farming. Don't want to leave any money on the table. Do that today before that's all distributed. And thanks y'all for participating and tuning in as always.
Don't just claim. Make sure you link your wallets.
Yes, that too. Good shout.
No linking, no goldie.
Yo, there's no way of unlinking a wallet, right? Because my fucking fantasy top one, I linked it by itself like a clown, and now I'm stuck with like another wallet with a lot of gold in it with no freaking points multiplier.
You might be screwed, dude. I think
I
it
know,
gives you like
fuck.
2 warnings. It's like, are you sure?
Yeah, just the fantasy top made it weird, but whatever, it's fine. I don't really care. I'll still collect that gold. It's just not going to be in the right place. I claimed it directly into the fantasy top wallet, we could export the private key, so that's okay. But it just sucks that it's not all in the same place. But whatever.
Yeah, good shot. I'll probably do a quick time sensitive ping on that too for you who didn't make it. Don't want anyone to leave anything on the table.
Legends, all of you.
All right, thanks, y'all.